Dawn Wells.
Yeah.
I met her at a retreat called ACTF, which was an actors convention many years ago. Really humble.
Oh,
You know who
wow.
else met her? I met her the same day David Holliday met her. So
Dave Holliday.
she didn't really spend time with David though. So I can't blame her I can't fault her for that. But yeah, guys, we're gonna always wish well for the families. The families have to go on, so our condolences. I do want to bring up, speaking of entertainment and film, I want to bring up The Replaceables. There's a couple of questions I want to ask Ray that I never asked them. And guys, these are lighthearted questions. We've spoken about every element of production you can imagine, behind the scenes, pre-production, post-production, and production. This is the website. You can find it at thereplaceablesmovie.com. And it's coming out soon, guys. Who knows when, but you know what? I guarantee you, when it comes to a screen near you, you are going to be able to say that you watched this when it came out first, and that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you tune into this show. We will let you know. We will keep you informed, keep you posted as to when you could watch it. TheReplaceablesMovie.com, but that's not all. IMDb.com. Type in The Replaceables, and you can see everything you need on IMDb as well, because The Replaceables was a film that was done right. And of course it was done right because Ray Lloyd and his partner Luther Biggs, they were at the helm of this film. And as you can see by this website, King Tonga's there, Ernest Miller's there, Larry Zabisco's there, Stan Hansen's there, DDP's there, Gangrel Heath David is there, Ron Reese, and of course there's Pinklin Thomas, boxer extraordinaire. Guys, this film covers it all. You will get action nonstop. You'll get some comedy in there, but more or less what you'll get beyond all that is camaraderie. You will see what friendship and camaraderie is all about. In the backdrop, you'll get action and pro wrestling. So if you're a fan, you'll get your fix as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and and I can't thank enough our team of behind the scenes. I mean, anybody who's a fan of wrestling, this movie, this is our audience. This is the pro wrestling fan. This is our audience in this film. But the thing is too is like Melissa Groover, who's our lead producer on the project. I can't thank her enough. She has just been such an amazing leader of the group. Another one of my best buddies, my two best buddies in the whole world, Luther Biggs and my buddy John Holloway. And John is a producer on the film as well. I want to look to have John on maybe sometime here in the near future.
Sure.
He just recently, I want to congratulate him. He just he's in the final phases of kind of locking in his deal on a distribution deal on the film that he actually was the lead producer on, and it's called Unsheltered. It was a great story behind this movie, and was made for a very modest budget. But I tell you what, it looks great. I had a role in it. Luther had a role in it actually. So, but it's a great story. We won't get into too much to it right now because I know we got to move on. But John's one of my on our list of people this year to have on as a guest, so he can talk more about that. But as far as The Replaceables goes, here's what I will tell you.
Yes.
I promise you that if you're a wrestling fan, there's never been a movie like this. Think of The Magnificent Seven meets They Live. And if you're a Roddy Piper fan or a John Carpenter fan, can you imagine an action-adventure film with an ensemble of wrestlers that also has a sci-fi twist to it? So it's a fun action-adventure non-stop film. You certainly get your fix of wrestling in this. You get your fix of action in this. You get your fix of the sci-fi element. You get your fix of gunfire and explosions and like you would see in the A-Team. I mean, this movie is a non-stop thrill ride that it celebrates the wrestling fan and it celebrates the world of professional wrestling, and mostly it paints professional wrestlers in a really positive light as kind of unlikely heroes outside.
And Ray, long overdue. That last point you made, long overdue.
Absolutely. And it's one of these, and it's a movie that's a very family-friendly movie. It's a PG-13 film because of the action, but there's very, very little profanity in this movie. What is there is very mild profanity. It's not anything that I think anybody would be offended by. And for example, I always say, if you want an example of the profanity in our movie is, there's a character who just says, "Hey, heard you guys had a hell of a match last night." That's about the extent of the profanity in our movie.
That's it. And we got Joel Bateman saying hello. Hi, Joel Bateman. We also have Gus Ansamo saying, "I want this movie in my Voodoo collection so freaking bad." You'll get it soon. And I love the passion. And JC Farina is asking, Ray, what's the theme song for the movie? Is there a theme?
I will tell you this, that it's right now what we want is that we will actually want more of some classic type film, like some stuff that would remind you of maybe some Elvis type music, some a little bit of some of the classic blues in there. So we're as of right now, another one I want to have on here as a guest is my good friend Steve Azar, who's an amazing country music artist. Has had several hits. Steve and I have talked about him being the one that will oversee all the music on this thing. So obviously he's somebody I want to have as a guest on here. If you just Google, if you don't know who Steve Azar is, Google Steve Azar. He's got an amazing following in the music industry, and just an amazing artist and musician. So once again, I went to not only people that I knew, but people I knew were the best at what they do. And so the music in this, music is so important in a film. So we have gone to unbelievable extremes to make sure the music really matches the theme of this movie.
Great question, and I want to ask another one to piggyback off that. Joel says he loves family-friendly movies. That is awesome. Gus Anselmo, you could use my songs for your movie themes. Hey, send them over, Gus.
Yeah, guys. Heck yeah, buddy.
Why not?
We'll take a look.
There's a question I have for you that I never asked before, and this is a lighthearted question. Ray, people watching this film, if they were to look at a character, who would be the most intimidating character in The Replaceables? Who's the most intimidating of all the characters in this film?
You know what? I would say, as far as wrestlers go, the one person who people probably think would be the most intimidating character is Tonga Fafita, King Haku. But because people have heard the legendary stories of how tough he is, and those are all true. But we get to show a very warm, friendly, tender side of him that I don't think audiences have ever seen. And so that's something that I think people are really going to enjoy. But if I had to, I always go with what pops in my head first. And
sure.
We have an amazing actor in this film who has a huge social media following. His name is Nick Poulos. His last name is spelled Pulos.
Okay.
He is a monster of a guy. I mean, big guy. As a matter of fact, when Disney is running full speed, I mean, he typically does the role of the German mechanic at the Disney Hollywood Studios Indiana Jones stunt show.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
And Tonga is a big guy. Everybody knows that. Nick is an even bigger guy. And so, and he in the movie is one of the main aliens. And so he's like a farm boy who gets turned into an alien. And so there is an epic battle between Tonga and Nick's character in the film. So I would say when people watch the film that, because we got Tonga. You got Tonga and Stan Hansen in this movie, and you got 3-time world karate champion Ernest Miller.
Yeah.
I can kind of hold my own too, and so, we had to come up with an adversary that just in size, would say, wow, this is going to be a big mountain.
Right, because, let's be honest. You needed a formidable foe because of your background, Ernest's background, Tonga's background, everybody else's background. Right. So you're saying this is the guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the guy. And I'll tell you what, Nick came to audition for us, and through a strange turn of events, we actually ended up being able to use him. And I tell you what, he really, really did an amazing job. If you want to see Nick on display a little bit, even though I know the movie didn't get great reviews, the most recent Fantasy Island movie that came out, he had a good role in that. He is, but I'm telling you, like we live in a world where we're around big guys. He is an impressively big guy. And bigger than most people I meet, and even in our business. And I tell you,
you've seen some pretty big guys. So
yeah. And one, he is a great athlete. He's a great actor. He was very coachable, very directable. Just blended in with us. I certainly think he could have a good career in the rest of the business if he wanted to. But he's just a big, massive guy, and just right. but and he's somebody that I believe. One of the reasons why we felt like he was a great adversary and very intimidating is because most people will have never seen him before, and I think they'll hopefully be able to get immersed in the character itself rather than seeing someone else that might have been a notable name in that character. So,
yeah, that's one of the things. By the way, that's one of my pet peeves, and I want to leave the Replaceables up here for a second because I got one more question. But when I watch a film, and guys, please check out the replaceablesmovie.com.
Yes.
Remember the replaceablesmovie.com. When I watch a film sometimes, it's easy to kind of it's harder to suspend disbelief if there's a character that sometimes isn't exactly incognito, if we know that there's a well-known actor playing him. So I like the fact that you're lost in the character instead of just like looking at the person portraying him saying, well, that's someone I already know. I've seen him in about 85 different movies. This is a guy that can make you suspend disbelief because you probably have never seen him. Maybe you will down the road. But that's easier to sell as well, especially for an antagonist in a film. So
and also, with this film, Avi and I talk about the film all the time. So of course, I'm a little obsessed over it right now. But here's what I will say that I haven't even had a chance to catch Avi up on this. There's a couple of things in the works right now for the film that I'm so excited because I always say do what you love and what you love will reward you. I said that earlier. There's been some potential things that have been brought to the table that if we get these things finalized for the film, it is going to take this thing to an even better and bigger level.
That's so exciting.
And I can't wait to But if when I have that news, if that stuff does come through, the first place I will share it is right here. So Ray, you guys will hear it first.
Ray, I can wire you some money now. Can you tell me? I'll wire it to you right now as we speak live. Give you some dough.
Well, I would tell you this: it is it's pretty darn exciting news. I mean, it's exciting.
Man, I can't wait.
I'm telling you, there's part of it with maybe the one thing I've told you about with the gentleman in the company who maybe will probably be coming on to help us promote the film. But there's even potentially some more bigger news that if this gets lined up, and like I said, that's why I don't want to build expectations too high. But if this ends up working out, it's going to be something that people are going to be really, really pleased.
This is kind of a game changer right now. Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, it really could be
nice.
For the film. But I will say this: the pickup shots that we have still left to do on the film are things that we've gone back and we've really massage those scenes to really, we had the time because we were originally supposed to shoot our pickup shots in April of last year.
Right.
And because of the pandemic, we just haven't been able to do that just for safety reasons, And so hopefully we're being able to schedule that here really, really soon over maybe the next month or so. And but it's actually in a way been a blessing in a disguise because it gave us time to go back, look at all of our footage that we had and really go back and say, okay, how can we make these scenes work the best possible way we can make them work to really make this a great film? And I think we've been able to do that. So once we get those last little bits in the can and we start really being in full post-production, it will be a really exciting time.
I cannot wait. And I know you guys can't either. Tammy, hello. Joel Bateman shared. Thank you. I will get it on Blu-ray, The Replaceables. Guys, stay tuned for more information about The Replaceables. I have one last question. Ray Lloyd, as it pertains, we all know there's jokesters and pranksters on set in all walks of life. I asked that already. Which individual, which actor, whether it was a pro wrestler or not, which actor delivered the lines that cracked you up the most or that you had to bite your tongue on because it was so funny?
Hands down, there's not even a close second on this. That would be Larry Zbyszko, who plays the character of Legend on the film. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Of course, Avi, you and I have talked about it before, but for everybody who's tuning in, once again, another Hall of Fame wrestler that does an amazing job in this film, the living legend Larry Zbyszko. Ironically, his character is called Legend, and he plays a character that's the retired world champion, and I beg him to come on this wrestling tour with us because I need that guy who people want to take the pictures with, the retired champion who has the title belt. And of course, Larry is that guy, but he's an amazing performer, just like Tonga, just like Stan Hansen, just like Diamond Dallas Page, just like Gangrel, just like Ernest, just like Luther, myself included. I feel like we all really stepped up to the plate and hit home runs when we were called to do so. But legend Larry Zbyszko, on and off camera, entertained everybody so much. For example, he's that classic old school wrestler. If he's not on camera, he's got a cigarette and a cup of coffee. I don't care how hot or cold it is. I don't care if it's early or midnight. He's always got that coffee and that cigarette. And but every time, usually either me or Luther would drive him to the set because we all were kind of staying, on location. And every time he really developed a close relationship with our wardrobe department and Armando, who was the assistant to our head wardrobe lady, who was amazing, did an amazing job. I think we had 42 different characters in the film, and they kept
42 characters. Wow.
They kept all the wardrobe. No one ever got their wardrobe messed up. Everything was always.
In all honesty, the wardrobes. I mean, they were the unsung heroes of the film.
Oh, very much the unsung heroes of the film, and along with just like I always say, Melissa and everybody else that was behind the scenes. But he would always and that gentleman's name was Armando, and the first thing that Larry would always say every time he got to the set was he'd step out of the car and he would just loudly proclaim, "Armando, I'm here."
I love that. Every time you bring that up, that gets me.
Yeah, and then every time, didn't matter how many scenes we had, every time we would do a scene with Legend and they would say cut, he'd almost always go, lunch. just to kind of keep the mood light. And
that's so important for a film set too, just to be able to keep the mood light, especially during a long day where there might be different takes. And you know what? I want to bring this up. We haven't brought this up in maybe a month, so I have to say this again. I was always impressed, and we're getting a lot of new viewers. I also want to thank, I didn't say this, there's 34 groups right now that are actually streaming our page. Guys, if you're watching on my page or Ray Lloyd's page or Mike Drosy or Paul Romer, Don Morocco or Del Wilkes or Bill DeMott, that's great. But there's 34 other wrestling groups and non-wrestling related pages that are streaming our stuff now live, streaming Breaking the Ice with Glacier, Ray Lloyd, and Avi Klein live. And I want to thank all of those pages wholeheartedly for doing that. So if you're watching on those pages as well, thank you. A lot of new viewers. that Ray can't see. They're not coming off of the usual Facebook feed. So I want to bring this up too, Ray, because somebody asked this question. There have been so many films that I've been a part of that usually would require at least, I don't know, 4 to 5 takes per actor or per